We are talking about A Clash of Kings, the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire saga.
Yes.
We read a chapter at a time. I've read the books multiple times. Josh, you've never read the books. You've seen the Game of Thrones television program on HBO.
I have.
But we're reading this through, chapter at a time, getting to know George R. R. Martin's work.
That's right.
And we just read Arya II from A Clash of Kings, the second Arya chapter. What are your first thoughts here?
Gendry is one
All
of
right.
my thoughts.
First thoughts are Gendry.
And whatever the guy's name is. I never know.
Yoren. He's their leader.
Yeah.
And then Amory Lorch is the knight who comes to collect Gendry.
Yep, that's right. But Gendry was the big tatakeaway of this chapter.
All right, why?
For me.
What about Gendry?
I don't know. He's just like this. He's got this lore about him on the show. Like I remember we were talking about it a season ago when we were trying to think what was going to happen on the show, and it's like, oh, Gendry's going to come back. We have to have Gendry come back. He hasn't been here for so long, and he's his bloodline has such a major role in the fight for the throne. And Gendry seems to be like a fan favorite. Like.
He does.
I don't know why it is that like it happens all over with different movies and books and TV shows, but like a good character goes away. It doesn't even have to be that great. Like there's nothing too significant about Gendry. It's not like he had one big moment before and you're like, oh, that was a Gendry moment. It's just like he's there and now he's gone and people are like, oh, where's Gendry?
2 points. First, Julie says hi.
Oh, hi, Julie.
And so in this chapter, basically what happens is Arya's on the road with her Night's Watch people. She's still posing as a boy, trying to get to the wall, and they're at an inn taking baths. Not Arya, because she can't, I suppose she's a girl.
She wants to keep it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was smart.
And, exactly. Although, really quick, I loved her line about the reason she didn't take a bath. Like, this almost came first. Some of the creatures living in her clothes had come all the way from Flea Bottom with her. It didn't seem right to drown them. I think it's adorable.
That's one way of putting it.
Like, she feels guilty about killing the ticks that are living on her that she got when she was homeless in King's Landing. And it's also like, and because you can't reveal you're a girl, right? Like, that's like your second reason?
That's the main reason to me. The not wanting to drown
Of course it is.
The not wanting to drown the ticks thing. That's like, that shows you where her head's at. That's what somebody who just watched their dad's head get cut off look. That's where their head is at.
Or it's
like, I can't
let
go
of
of
these
these
childish
ticks.
thing to say, which is so cute, because we should remember that Arya is a kid here.
Lyme's disease is no joke, Dan.
It's not a joke, but it's
not cute.
Phrased a little. Her innocence is cute.
No, it is.
She's still innocent in this chapter.
She is.
In terms of like kind of tender mixing with harsh, I also liked the bit where, this chapter, she's on the road. The chapter opens with her like looking at all the people she's passing on the road, old folks and little children, big men and small ones, barefoot girls and women with babies at their breasts. They're all riding for King's Landing. Why are they riding for King's Landing, Josh? All these stream of humanity going to the city.
I don't think that they're riding to King's Landing for a good reason. It's like there's nothing good in King's Landing.
But why are they going? They're all going. Everyone's
going. You tell me, why are they going?
Okay. They're going because there's war. It's a war, man. The Lannisters are fighting the Riverlanders, the Tullys. The Starks are coming down. Peasants are running to get out of their villages and their towns to a city with walls because they're afraid.
And that's my problem with it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand that King's Landing is like this capital city or something.
It's a walled city.
Like it is a walled city. But this idea that anything good happens in King's Landing, from the very small details that we've had, or just the horrible people that are involved there. I don't know how information is spread around Westeros, but the King's Landing is not the place that I would want to go if there's war, because to me, if there's war, people are coming for King's Landing. So why would I go to the place where everybody's probably going to go?
Well, eventually, but right now, there's fighting everywhere. Like, there's two battles. There's the Lannisters and there's the Tullys. They're kind of the two combatants now in the Starks. They're not fighting in King's Landing. They're fighting all over the Riverlands. They're fighting, in the fields and on the beaches and whatever the rest of that quote is. And, Gregor Clan is burning villages down. They're burning enemy villages down.
Yeah.
The peasants are suffering. The choice is, if you have a family and you're I can stay in my hut and, risk literal raiders or brigands who are just because there's war around, just feel free to, if it's time for looting, it's now. They're just going to go, we'll burn your village down. We'll kill you, maybe rape you, steal your stuff, whether that's an enemy army or them. You're like, okay, I need to go where there's law and order. And even though King's Landing is a cesspool, there's, the government's still intact. Even though it's being led by idiots named Cersei and Varys and Littlefinger.
It's like, it's just this mirage, this metaphor of being forced into something that you think is going to be better, and it's not going to be any better. They're being literally
and it's horrible there. Like, it's later in the book. It's a big riot in King's Landing. That's a lot of fun. I mean, it's not.
Well, on
it's
the
not
show,
ideal.
on the show, I mean, there's like levels of King's Landing where like they go down. If you get down low enough to the, roll in the mud with the peasants, like it's not a. It's like a metaphor. It's like the refugee metaphor. It's like,
it's war refugees, and this happens. Like this happens in all wars, medieval and current. Yeah. But that's the reason they're all going. It's because there's war in the land, and they don't want to die, so they want to go where there's big walls and a standing military and a force that can repel people who they want to go where there's law and order, because there isn't any here, which is a theme of the chapter. In fact, later, when Arya and Gendry and Yoren and the Night's Watch crew are all at their inn, Amory Lorch, a knight sent by the Queen, comes up and asks, I'm here to find one of you. And Arya thinks it's her because she's, Ned Stark's daughter. And it ends up that it's not. They're actually looking for Gendry. Yep. Remember why?
Well, it's because bloodline. They can't let him.
They can't let him. Rob's bastard son.
Yeah, they can't have him running around. They can't have Rob's bastard son running around, with the formal, claim to the throne.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's why.
And that's why he disappeared on the show. But I don't know. But
he's disappeared because he just kind of.
That's that was the reason I wanted him to come back on the show.
Yeah,
he's got the rightful.
That's why people are talking about Gendry, because technically, on the show, he's the last living Baratheon. Stannis is gone, Renly's gone, Robert's gone. Stannis' family's gone, so he's like the last one. But that's why he's important, because Cersei wants him dead, because she wants all Robert's bastards dead. She doesn't want anybody fighting with Joffrey for the throne, even though it would be a great thing if they did. Yep. What's funny is that nobody knows that. Gendry doesn't know, Arya doesn't know, Yoren doesn't know.
It was good for the suspense of the chapter, though.
It really was.
Because I really did honestly think that they were looking for Arya. I was I don't remember this from the show.
What's that?
I was like, I don't remember this from the show.
It happened in the show. It happened in the show.
No, but I remember for them looking for Arya. That's why I was like, oh, they never took Arya. I don't remember this. Yeah. This is a major difference from the book to the show. No, and then the reveal of Gendry, I was like, oh, it's Gendry. It's like, so.
Only, he has no idea why they're looking for
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
I also like the bit where Amory Lorch rides up and he has some knights with him, and he's like, hand over Gendry. And Yoren's like, no. And then all the Night's Watchmen, even though they're kind of idiot brigands who are being taken to the Night's Watch, they all do form up and just instinctually we're not going to let you take anybody. And there's one line, what was it? Dauber stepped naked out of the bathhouse with his clothes in a bundle, saw what was happening, and dropped everything but his dagger. So everybody's just forming up.
Yep.
That was cute. Which is so kind of Arya's style. She wants to ride or die for something. Oh, yeah. She's into that. Any excuse to fight the Lannisters, she will take. So she too, she was like, you got to go through me. Has her little sword out. It was adorable. And then they leave because Yoren takes Amory Lorch's sword. But the point was, Yoren's under the impression that because they're in the Night's Watch, they'll be able to get through this kind of war-torn country without folk bothering them. He says, that's nothing to us. Tully or Lannister makes no matter. The Watch takes no part. That's the law of the land. Yep. That's, if you're in the Night's Watch, no one messes with you. Yeah. Just because that's the tradition.
You've got one job. Everybody knows what it is.
And part of the thing here is that people are forgetting what that is. But Amory Lorch comes up anyway. Yep. And tries to threaten them to hand over Gendry. And Lauren's like, but it's the law. And then Amory Lorch, in a very Judge Dredd moment, goes, the law, here's your law, takes out a sword, and is like, yeah, I don't care about the prohibition. Hand the dude over or we will kill you. And I think that's very much a theme here. Lawlessness. Yeah. This is what war is doing to the countryside. People are running to King's Landing because it's chaos in the country now that people are fighting. They're even not respecting the Night's Watch neutrality.
Well, that was the thing, too. Everybody, that's why it's I don't think it's a good reason. I understand why the refugees are fleeing to King's Landing. I get it. But I don't...
I'm not sure you do. I feel like I have to convince you.
You did have to convince me, because I think it's a bad idea, because that right there encompasses exactly why you don't want to go to King's Landing, because you have these representatives from King's Landing being we are going to actively participate in the lawlessness to our own end, for our own gain.
Is that lawlessness if the Queen is telling you to do that?
It is, because the Queen, who we've established will not respect the by-the-book method, is going outside of the rules. She's going outside of the law.
Well, according to the Queen, she wants to kill this bastard so law and order can be preserved, because then her son will not have any rivals to the throne. He can rule over peacefully.
Yes, that is the...
War is what happens when there are two... We're in a war right now because Joffrey says he wants the throne, Renly wants the throne, Stannis wants the throne, Robb Stark is just angry that his dad is dead. I mean, this is a war of secession. The idea is you kill the other claimants, and there's only one king, then there's peace.
That's true. That is the blueprint to every successful democracy in the history of mankind.
Well,
just kill everybody else, and then we'll be able to do our one plan.
Well, that's the problem. This isn't democracy. This is not that this really matters, but this is why monarchy doesn't work, people.
It's true. This is not the first time you said that. We got to put that on a T-shirt. Sell that.
It's not like it's a giant revelation. I think we want to figure that out. Although, then again, I don't know, there are places in the world that still have them.
It's true.
And, not to get too political, but...
I love it when you get political.
You do. You just need to like that. I am definitely against autocracy of any kind. And you don't have to be a king to be an autocrat, as far as I'll say. But yeah, the system of government where there's only one person in charge, this kind of crap happens. And again, in history it has.
Yeah.
So what was my original point? The original point is King's Landing is still the safest place for them to go.
It is technically the safest place to go.
Okay.
But I can't be convinced any further than that.
Fair enough. I think that's all I need to be convinced of. And again, also, these are peasants. These aren't people who are concerned about, I heard the queen's a not nice person.
No, and I mean, that's highlighted in the idea that they're all flocking to the same place for individual purposes. They're like, I will be safe, my family will be safe inside the walls of King's Landing, without considering the fact that everybody else in the country, in the countryside or wherever, is doing the same exact thing, and it's, eventually we're going to run out of room.
Well, it's very true. And that does literally happen. There's from the show and in the books too, there's a big riot later in this book and later in this season of the show in King's Landing because it's a lot of people and not a lot of food and it's bad. But I mean, again, that happens in life, in history. When there's a war in the countryside, you flee to where there are the big freaking walls. It just makes sense. Although then that causes its own problems. Or refugee crises today. I mean, that still happens when... Oh, God, I'm political again. If where you are is terrible and it sucks and your family has a horrible outlook, you try to go somewhere where it's less terrible.
Yeah.
And then that causes its own set of problems and then its own, stuff happens with immigration. So it's a very real, I think, realistic issue that we're seeing. And I feel attacked by your refusal to believe it.
It's good. That's why this is the best segment of the show, Dan.
Yeah, when I get all passionate about autocracy. Do you have any other thoughts on this chapter?
No, I don't.
I did philosophically.
I did like the Law and Order, the
happened.
theme. Not a lot happened, which is kind of the last couple of chapters. Not
It really
a lot
has.
happened, but
we're early in the book. It's setting things up.
Well, Bran, not a lot happened, but a lot happened
there.
in terms of getting inside of his mind.
Well, in this one, literally, Emery Large comes for Gendry. He says no. He rides off. He's going to come back.
Yeah.
So it sets that up.
But it's that happened. Something big happened. A big reveal happened, and not a lot around it.
They want Gendry. Do we? Yeah, we know that Gendry at this point in the narrative is Robert Baratheon's son. Just he doesn't, because Ned figured it out in the first book. Okay.
He did.
I also, really quick, I just liked this bit. When they're going along, one of their own party dies, the Night's Watch party. Somebody dies. I don't remember his name. Just some rando. And all the Night's Watchmen, Arya's group, they strip him of his valuables. They take all his crap, his shoes, his clothes, his swords, and then toss a few acorns over his body so an oak might grow to mark his place. I liked the fact that it was very callous, because you're literally stealing a dead man's stuff.
Extremely callous, yeah.
But it's also kind of tender, because, they're planting a tree over
They
him.
planted a tree on top of him?
Yes.
How do you know that tree's going to grow?
They don't.
Exactly. That's not very
do.
touching. That's maybe it'll grow, maybe it won't.
It is
Maybe he'll just be in an
absolutely
unmarked
touching.
grave forever.
It speaks to the severity of the situation. They have to keep going, because if they don't, Emery Lorch is going to come and kill them all. But they still do what little thing they can for this dead person. That's what
a very bare minimum little thing that they can.
Good. What do you want of these people, Josh? It's a war zone. They have to keep moving.
Proper burial for your brother in arms.
Well, they don't have the time.
Well,
they probably put him in a hole. If
they had to. I hope they didn't just toss the acorn on top of him and hope that the tree was going to grow.
Works.
That's not how that works.
Yes, they buried him.
All right. Well, at least we have that.
Okay. You have anything else you want to say? I'm very passionate.
No,
today.
but it's a good chapter. For a chapter where not a lot happened, we got very fired up about it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm excited for the next chapter.
I mean, that's the thing about Game of Thrones. Like, yes, not a lot literally happened in the plot, but as we saw, the ground is rich with thematic resonance.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of themes to dig into here. Autocracy, war, survival,
immigration.
childhood innocence, immigration. All these things are touched on because, like all
Proper
the great
hygiene.
stories, hygiene, ticks living on you, Lyme disease, and how it can be your friend. Okay, I think that's about going to do it for us.
I think so. What's the next chapter? What are we doing next week?
John, first John chapter.
So everybody's paying attention and reading along. I hope people are reading along. That'd be fun.
I hope so too. Yeah, if you guys are reading along, let us know. We are enjoying it, and we hope you are too. And we will see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the Winners Coming Facebook page for more Game of Thrones news, more Song of Ice and Fire discussion, more genre fiction on our rumination, and more Song of Ben and Josh. Jon Snow 1 from Clash of Kings.
All right.
All right. Adios, everybody. Thanks for watching.